I'll start sort of breaking it down from a linear standpoint in order of how it's going to affect and who it's going to affect. So, really, the biggest part of it is that we are putting a firm separation um, that in place before between the player in the league and the staff member in the league. No longer will admins or any staff member who has uh, controlling authority in the league, whether it's rule enforcement, community moderation to levels, um, any person that's going to be in a position of power within the league to impact the operations of any team in our league or any player in our league will no longer be allowed to play on the team. Um, this primarily affects maybe some old school members of RSL that you know, occasionally like to indulge in a little siege on the side and a little administrating on the side. It's okay, it happened. At the time, it was okay for the league, but we're growing, and as we grow, we do need to make changes. So, like I said, no longer are we ever going to have a player that is playing a game and then also going to be able to make any decisions over rules or see confidential mod mails, tickets with players, protests, any of that information. Everything is completely separate. Um, the main concern a lot of people have is Irish Chaos, our league founder, who, for all intents, is still our league founder, and still we are, running this league off of his vision. Um, he chooses to participate on the team. He is no longer part of day-to-day operations of the league. He is solely here in name only, in terms of staff. He's not really on staff anymore. I suppose he is just the founder. So, for example, with our system now, he doesn't see, your tickets. He doesn't see um, any information coming in. He doesn't know what we know in terms of team issues, rule breaking. He can't make a decision on that. And we even, have the pleasure of kicking him out of meetings where we discuss, things that he can't know. And he might be listening right now, so I'm not going to go into those things. But regardless, that's the first and primary goal, is to separate church and state. If
All right, that's good. Um, so talking since we've talked a little bit about those who are in charge and those who are who don't have as much or any power, relatively speaking, that they used to. Who is currently in charge? What are the positions? How is the separation of power and the balancing of it? How does that work?
Yeah, so fortunately, we were able to we completely redid our staff organizational structure, and we have now a much more concise, easy to know who's who structure, and it's a very very neatly laid out chain of command, if you. So I'll start at the top, which is Psychic. As many of you know, Psychic is the league CEO. He is Heimdall's boss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all of our bosses actually.
Yep.
And his job here is really to he doesn't get involved in all the day-to-day minutia necessarily, but it's to help maintain the steady voice that guides the ship. Ultimately the decisions and directions we go are going to be reviewed, and he's going to have his input and make sure that the league is still growing and moving in the direction he wants to move. Or but we really all want to move, but the buck has to stop somewhere, so we chose him. Underneath Psychic, as you also reiterated earlier, is you, Heimdall. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
you know this.
Yeah, I do.
But Heimdall, as everyone knows, or should know, or will know after I say it, is our league director. Now, what does the league director do? It's a more hands-on position in charge of the day-to-day operational running of the league. Overseeing all of the changes we're going to make, the day-to-day, scheduling of matches, team complaints, um, not necessarily team complaints, but like when we're building the new, if we're writing a new rule, if we're struggling with a format, it's gonna be his decision ultimately. Um, which will segue into the next two little totems on the pole is going to be myself and Parker. As was mentioned earlier, I am the community director in charge of really all of the relations in the league. You have an issue, you can message me. A lot of the mod mail tickets, I haven't been on top of this necessarily myself, but I hope to eventually become the point of contact with the league, the voice of the league, essentially. Um, so, just one social media when we grow that, Instagram if we ever decide to do that fully. Um, anything like that, anything essentially PR related, questions, community members, wanting to get involved, anything like that is what I'm trying to handle. And I hope that, and I'll make this clear here now, anyone can message me at any time. I'll always be happy to assist any player or team, captain, etc. that just needs it. If you don't want to necessarily immediately go to a mod mail or anything, something casual, you can hit me up. I'm available. Generally, I'll respond within a day. I will say though, obviously, official communication needs to remain in official channels. So don't take your protests to me, please. I'm not going to respond. Don't. But that's generally the other. That's the gist of me. Now Parker here is our production director. Parker is ultimately in charge of the content, the end content that you're going to watch and consume and enjoy, and also participate in playing and hopefully making an entertaining league. That's all Parker. So, how the Twitch streams are run, the casters we have, all of that, he's going to make sure are good quality casters, good quality spectators, and make sure that the end viewing experience is quality. So what I'm saying is when we need to rehost a match 5 times, blame Parker.
45-minute late time last night. Don't at me. Don't at me.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes
I don't know, Parker. If you want to add any more about yourself, you're free to do so.
I think you covered everything that I do. If something doesn't look good, just tell me. I can fix it, or at least take it into consideration of fixing it.
Yeah,
Kind of how I operate.
it usually is pretty good. So obviously we went over the things like the founders,
Cool.
where they stand.
I think our host died.
Different things.
He might have. He might have.
Sorry, my my microphone cut out for you guys, but not for the stream. That was weird. So obviously, so the stream was hearing me, but you guys weren't.
Because you deafened on Discord, imagine.
Wait, was I deafened? Why was I deafened?
Yeah.
You definitely.
No, I'm muted. I heard you guys the entire
So
time.
I know you're new to Discord, so the microphone at the bottom left is actually how you
Mute
unmute,
yourself.
and then the
Yes.
headphones are actually deafened. So if you click those, we can't hear you.
I could still hear you guys, so I was just muted. It's fine. Obviously, we went over the founders, where they stand inside the league, as well as the kind of the overall top of the structure. Obviously, some of the positions on our org chart that people are being able to see right now aren't exactly fully filled in. And staff changes in the structure, I think we've also touched on. So how are people going to be able to see this regularly, Andrew? How are they going to be able to go back rather than having to go through the SPOD necessarily, which might be updated beyond what at that point in time might be updated beyond what it is currently? How will they be able to see this and know where people are?
Well, we'll cover. This is gonna sort of breach into something we'll cover a little later on in the panel, but essentially, we will be launching a website. On the website, all roles and positions will be very clearly marked, and on back end sides of it, the roles that are essential, the admin role essentially, which is going to be any person that's involved in really the rule enforcement, all that kind of stuff that can get into conflict of interest, will be a clearly labeled tag and will be the only people available to have access to that information. As it is now, we'll use our really great example of Irish. He'll have a founder tag. He won't have the tag. You'll be able to see this visibly, that he will not have the tag that will give him access to the information that, no one wants him to have. And this goes for any staff member. Like, we will still allow, players to be like Twitch mods, maybe here and there, stuff like that. Community help us with community moderation, but mostly from just a content. They won't have any impact over the games or those rules. So those people as well will have a tag that again allows them to, moderate forums, moderate chat, but it will not allow them to access any proprietary or confidential information at all. And this will all be publicly visible on our website, who has access to what and what their tags are, and then any player, and the tags will carry over to Discord as well, so you can see the same, the same tag and color on Discord, the same tag and color on the website, and hopefully we'll eventually learn that who has who and what has what. So it'll be very clear for everyone that the person you might be interacting with, sure, he might be the founder of the league, but there's a verification that he won't be in the system that allows him physically even to access mod mail, tickets, protests, etc.
Yes. And I think that's those are very important things. Obviously, we did respond to you all. We recognized that there was a potential conflict of interest, and we all agreed unanimously across the upper part of administration that that was something that was needed, and it was implemented. And I think the community is, for the most part, I can't even think of an issue really anybody's had once we've implemented this.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt you real quick. I'm happy to say that we reacted to an issue brought up by the community. We reacted timely and I feel appropriately, and I feel that the response so far has been good.
No, that is very important, and I think the next thing that we might want to talk about a little bit here, it might be the rule book. That's something that's been a bit of a hot topic lately with a couple of different teams with issues that have been had, as well as our rules will very easily acknowledge are a little bit confusing, a little bit vague, and I think that that's something that we might want to go ahead and take a look at talking about. And I don't have a slide for this simply because I don't think anyone wants to sit through a section for this. I don't think anyone wants to sit through looking at all the different pages of the rulebook as it is. But to talk to us about that, the man who's been working on it the most of all of us has been Parker.
Oh, right. Sorry. So yeah, I spent a lot of time, and I've converged with a lot of different people inside of the league. And actually, let me find it if I can. Heim, give me just 2 seconds, if you would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We've been working on this rulebook for I don't even know, Andrew, like a month and a half now at this point. Just to make sure that it's up to date and that we're
Comprehensive is going to be a buzzword.
Comprehensive, yes. Make sure it's we're comprehensively covered. If I'm using that correctly, if I'm not, please correct me. I'm not always the most savvy with my words. Blame Parker. Yes, that's always a good one.
I love seeing people who aren't even in the league participate in the chat. Thank you,
yes.
Gold Lover.
Thank you, Gold Lover.
I apologize. I had to step away for 2 seconds as we now have extensive wall damage courtesy of dogs. So, no, not at all. As far as the rulebook goes, I have done quite a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Restructuring, maintenance, overhauling.
More of like talking to everybody inside of the community, as far as admins goes, and a lot of input from other teams, things like that. So as a whole, myself, Andrew, Heim, we've all been working pretty hard on the rulebook. I'd like to highlight a few very important parts of it that I feel are the utmost of urgency. But I do want to say when the league officially starts using it before Season 3 starts, it is going to be the team's responsibilities and the players' responsibility to learn them. I'm not going to go through all 47 pages of the rulebook. That is going to be up to the teams to know the rules. But
yes,
the most pressing ones I will highlight. So we've used major minor penalty points in the past, but we've never had a prize pool. So we're introducing kind of, I guess, essentially as other leagues have done, and I'll let you decide who it is and who I'm talking about. But as well as, so we kind of fell in the same structure as well as far as penalty points goes. Major minor penalty points will now affect a prize pool at the end of the season. Meaning if Heim commits an act that's against the rule, his team will get a penalty point for it. It's no longer per player. It will be the team that you represent will get the penalty point. Major penalty point is worth 10% of a final prize money. Minor penalty point is worth 1% of the prize money deducted. That money will not go back into the league. It will go, well, actually, it will go back into the league. It will be dispersed between the next team below them and their players. So it's not like we deduct 10% for a major infraction, and then the league pockets that money. That goes directly into the league itself. Inside of the teams playing and competing, they will get the prize pool for it. Okay. Oh no. My outline has disappeared. Okay. So Major minor penalty points, very simple. I'm not going to break down all of them, but I'll give you an example. Cheating, such as walling, things like that. If it doesn't, it'll probably end up resulting in a ban, but just for simplicity's sake, that would probably fall under a major penalty point. So if a person is cheating, they will get a major penalty point. That player will probably be banned, but it doesn't mean necessarily the team will, but the team in general will get a major penalty point. Minors are things for a really good example is what I'm going to bring up next. It is going to make a lot of people frustrated, and I apologize ahead of time.
Yeah, this is not going to be a popular one.
This one is going to be horrible, and I'm sorry, but just for the sake of confusion and for just a streamlined approach, starting season 3, RSL will no longer allow uniforms and headgears to be played. It will only be able to play default headgears and uniforms. Doing so, if you play a skin that is banned, so all of them, that will be a minor penalty point for the team. We understand that it's not ideal. However, when you have 16 skins that aren't banned, 5 that are, it just gets really confusing onto, okay, is this skin banned? Okay, well, let's see. And it gets confusing. So we're going to streamline it. That does not affect gun skins. Gun skins will be allowed
Or charms.
to be whatever you want to. Charms as well. This only stands for uniforms and headgears. It can only be default. No elite skins, nothing like that. I will say, I'm going to kind of hint at it in the future. We're just going to have to discuss it more. Pilot program is actually a really good question. That's something that we're still discussing. I'm not going to say for sure, so don't quote me on it, but it is a very good possibility that pilot program skins will be allowed and only default.
As of this moment, it's currently only default.
It is only default. Even when pilot program comes out, it will still only be default until we make a ruling on it. That is very important to know. Okay. So that would be an example of a minor penalty point. Showing up late, minor penalty point, things like that. Also, like I've mentioned before, major penalty point, or I'm sorry, penalty points will no longer be given to a player. It'll be given to a team as a whole. So that really encourages teams to keep an eye on their players. Exactly. So hopefully this doesn't make everybody so mad, but yeah, that's the area that we're going to. I've noticed a lot of leagues are doing the same type of thing. So not only for the sake of confusion, but the sake of just streamlining everything.
Sorry, not to interrupt. If I'm not mistaken, the T3 Hub Discord was having the same discussion just very recently, as a very, very common thing that a lot of leagues want to do.
Yeah, correct. Most T3 teams or leagues are considering doing the same thing. As far as we go, I think all of the admins agreed that just for the sake of just simpleness, we don't. Good. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, is it this skin? Is it that skin?
Yeah, exactly. It just gets too confusing. And then you have teams opening up a match protest because somebody ran a Twitch Elite skin, and then we have to go back through the VOD and see. So we're just going to nip it at the bud. If a spectator catches it, probably a good chance it's going to be a warning the first time. But you will lose that round, most likely. That'll be in the rulebook. We'll clarify that at the end. But just an example, you'll probably end up getting that round deducted from you if you win it. And then the next time you do it for that team, it'll be a warning. Or I'm sorry, it'll be a penalty point issued to the entire team. So that is one of the bigger ones that are coming that's going to affect every single game. Actually, all of the rules are going to affect every single game, obviously. But that's one of the major ones that you need to know that I thought was worth highlighting.
And then we did have one other thing I think that you wanted really to come out of this conversation with, and that was representatives and points of contact. I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier when talking about Andrew, but I think that is something you were specifically wanting to talk about as well, Parker, coming from the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go into more detail about it. So in the current structure of RSL, it allows anybody to open up a support ticket, or a mod mail. This has proven to be quite ridiculous, just given for the fact that everybody can do it, which is not a problem right now. We recognize that this is an issue and this makes things get very confusing. So we're stepping away from that. I'll talk more about it, and when I talk about our new website that's launching, everybody's pretty much known about it. It is coming. before season 3 starts. Oh, excuse me. But team representatives are going to be an elected team member, whether it's from the org itself, a team captain, a team analyst, whatever. You will elect one person to be your team representative, and that is the person that can submit support tickets on the new website. And when it launches, well, until it launches, it'll be mod mails, but the website and the rulebook are probably going to come out at the same time. It's probably the same day, to be honest with you. So team reps are going to be the only person that can contact this admin in an official capacity. It does not mean if there is somebody doing something inside of chat or inside of Discord, something like that, that it can't be messaged to the community director, Andrew. But as far as, things like match protests or match rescheduling, team changes, roster changes, anything, it can only be done by the team representative. Now, there will be a backup that you can elect, so you can have essentially 2. That'll fall into a minor or major penalty point as well if somebody contacts RSL admins and do a support ticket and they're not the team representative. It is up to the teams to know who their representative is. We'll go in more detail when the website launches, and we'll put out a couple of announcements in Discord to explain the process of electing somebody. But as far as anybody contacting admins, at this point, it's no big deal. But when the new website, new rulebook launch, that will not happen anymore. There'll be a warning and there'll be penalty points issued every single time. And it is up to the team to determine who can do that and to take action against their team member before they get a penalty point issued to their team. Ooh, I'm done. Host.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely quite a lot of information already coming out, which is very, very important. Yes, this does stem from some of this does stem a little bit from some issues that we've had in the past previously, just this preseason alone with certain teams, and issues with contact in an official capacity. But it was something we were looking at doing anyways. I think that's definitely going to make things a little bit more streamlined for everyone altogether involved. And I think here it might be a little bit appropriate to give Parker a little bit of break, and talk a little bit more of the format for the upcoming season, which kind of falls to me here, as I've been the driving force behind it coming forward. So to talk a little bit about season 3, we're going to have 14 play days during season 3. And that allows for each team to play each other twice, similar to how we did in the Major League last season, before it became Champion Division. So that way it allows every team to play against each other 2 play days a week. The first play day will take place from Monday to Thursday, and there's going to be 1 game each day. This is the same for Champion and Major Division, as both of them will be streamed and cast. The Major Division will take place before Champion. I believe, Parker, I'm going to call on you a little bit here. Parker, we set that for 7:30 EST for the Major Division.
I believe so.
I believe,
if not an hour before.
Yeah.
And then starting Major or Champion directly at 8 or 9. I cannot remember exactly. We can look that up though.
It was some point between 7 and 8 for Major, and then 8 and 9 for Champion. So you'll have one of each of those games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If teams are unable to make one of those days during that play day, they have the opportunity to make it to Friday. Friday is the rescheduled day. Otherwise, every team gets a chance to rest before going into play day 2, the second play day of the week, on Saturday and Sunday. Two games will happen during Saturday, 2 games will happen during Sunday. And then if your team plays on Sunday, you should not be scheduled to play the following Monday, so that we get at least a day's rest in it. Each match will be 12 rounds, so it will end in either a 6-6 scoreline or a 7-5 scoreline. This does mean that we are allowing for draws to happen during the season, which can be representative of. I lost my train of thought there. I apologize. Allow for draws, which can make for closer competition rather during the season, I believe. And then after play day 7, we're going to take, yes, draws. We're going to allow draws to happen. So if it's a 6-6 score line, that's it. That's the end of the match. And it should make the competition closer. And hopefully more exciting for people, because if it gets to a 6-5, if it's one team gets to match point, then what will happen is now the other team that's losing wants to get to 6-6. These will be best of ones during the season. And then after play day 7, we're going to take a short break. I can't remember if it was a week and a half or 2 weeks. And we're going to have a major event in the middle of the season, sponsored by RSC, our sister community. Go over to them, by the way, if you want to do just some regular ranked or casual or terrorist hunt, whatever you want to do. The more casual side of Siege, as they're our partnered sister community. They're going to be sponsoring a major event where the top 4 teams of champion will be automatically qualified, and then it'll be a fight between the bottom 4 of champion and the top 4 of major to see who else gets to play in that. And I believe we are going to be doing a cash prize for that, which we have not yet currently decided on, though you will definitely know before the season starts for that one.
But it will be there.
It will be there. And then after that, the remaining 7 days of the play days, and the season's finals will occur after that. Something else that I know that people have been asking about a lot, and I think I can go ahead and touch on here, is a question that's been going around a lot. We actually got asked it in the panel questions channel. At the end of the season, we will see relegations happening. So the 8th team in champion will automatically switch places with the first team in major, and then 7 for champion and 2 for major will fight to see who gets 7th place. And then we're going to see the same thing happen for minor and major. However, the bottom 6 teams of bottom 6 teams of minor, as well as all 8 teams of entry, will be required to requal and to allow new teams to participate in that requalification, so that way we can potentially get new teams in as well. I also know that some people are still a little bit confused on the division of prize money and what even the pay-ins are per division. So going from entry up, entry has no prize pool and has no payment entry. There you're playing to play competitively. Minor has a $25 for the team once at the beginning of the season, and you have the opportunity to win $150 if you make first place, or $50 if you make second place. Major division from there, once at the beginning of the season, you pay $15 per main roster player, 5 main roster players. And you can have up to 3 subs, and that's $5 once at the beginning of the season. You have the opportunity to win $300 for first place or $100 for second place. And then champion is $30 per main roster player, 5 players, and up to 3 subs at $10 once at the beginning of the season. You have the opportunity to win $600 in first place or $200 in second place. There are not currently any division in between matches planned between divisions during the league, except for the mid-season major and maybe this season final. But that's not saying that we won't have any, unless there are any other questions in chat from me. And I'll wait a minute on this. I think we can move back over onto Parker to talk about the website, so I'll wait a second for that, for any other questions that anybody might have. Oh, there was one more question, sorry. The league matches currently are static during the season. Again, because we have that rescheduled day on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, generally speaking, people are more easily able to have more flexible schedules. But that doesn't mean that we can't potentially have an adjustment of like 15 minutes in schedule on the times, if I remember correctly. Andrew, was what we had decided on.
I'm sorry, our esteemed panel member here was messaging me on Discord, and I was reading it. Could you ask that question to me again?
Currently,
Don't at me.
currently, currently, it is. We're definitely gonna be more strict, more static on the matches during the season. But if it's
Yes.
a question of moving like 15 minutes, we might be able to be a little flexible like that. But if it's a serious change,
Yes.
then no.
I think that also
set.
ties into the rules too. There's going to be a little bit of some rule changes with timing. I know that it was previously 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to tie more into now more penalty points assessed to you. So essentially, just for an example, this isn't how it's going to be. But for example, if you're 5 minutes late, it's one minor penalty point or a warning, and then after you're 10 minutes late, it's a minor penalty point. And then we'll give you until 20, like just something along those lines. It's going to now involve penalty points with being late and stuff like that as well.
And one of the reasons why is because at this point, there are staff members, there are people that get paid to do this, and we don't want to waste viewers' times, my staff's times, the other team's times, if there are issues. So yes, it is a negative encouragement, but that is certainly something that is part of the view now, is that it's not just between two teams trying to schedule a scrim. This is a league match, and we want to make sure that everyone's treating it seriously as such. In Conan, we will answer that question a little bit later. I think Parker will answer that after he talks about the website. So speaking of Parker, if you want to...
Yes. The fun part. The part that I've been working day and night until 6 in the morning and sleeping until 4 p.m. The website. So.
Oh, it didn't take you that long.
So. There is a lot of utilization, and actually just for the sake of Rainbow Six competitive, there's a lot of utility in the website. Think of it like an operator. There is going to be a lot of things, and pretty much everything. I'm going to give a rough estimate. I would say probably 80% of the web or of Discord will be absolved and into the website. So everything from mod mail to stats to match result. Well, match results that'll be different, but like match history, like I already said stats, but everything is going to be moved onto the website essentially. The Discord is going to be just for announcements and community type things. That's worth mentioning. Technical delays will not result in a punishment. If there's an issue on the side of Rainbow Six or the side of RSL staff prohibiting a match to begin last night, no team will get punished. Now, if there's one team that doesn't show up and there's a technical issue, that's a different story. But if both teams are there and present and ready, and there's a six issue or a staff issue, that's on us. That's not. You guys aren't going to be punished for that. Yeah, and that's one of the issues that we were trying to combat is how big and how crazy the Discord is. That is something that we're going to work really, really hard to before the season 3 launches. So basically the gap in between the qualifiers and the season starts, Discord is going to be completely different. As I've said before and mentioned it, mod mail will no longer be a thing. It'll be a ticket system on the website. That'll be for everything, requesting roles to match protests, essentially, and everything in between. Everything will be on a ticket. Let's see here. There's going to be introduced a new stats system. So stats will no longer be on Discord as well. Each player will have their own page. So if they're looked at by another team, all they have to do is send them their link to their stat page, and it'll show every stat that they've had from every game. It'll also have their team history, who they've played on, their stats from that team, everything like that. So no longer are the days you have to go and find your stats and screenshots and do all of that just garbage. It's going to be a simple link that has all of your history inside of RSL.
Essentially what you're saying is that we're going to return Discord back to the communication program it is.
Yeah, essentially. It's no longer going to be used as a website, and we're going to use a, what do you call those things? An actual website to give information.
Oops, sorry.
So, no, I can relate. My dogs are just god-awful. So, let me see here. There's going to be a lot of just general information as well on the website. Everything from sponsors to match times to a calendar, everything that you could possibly need. We'll also do a lot of news on there, like blog posts essentially. It's just going to have everything that you're going to need. The support page is going to be the biggest thing on the website. That is going to be everything that you need. Like I've said before, team representatives are going to be the only ones that are allowed to contact RSL staff. It doesn't mean that team members can't. We're not going to go in and give everybody permissions to who can and who can't. It's just going to be, if you're a player for season 3, you can do it. If you do it, if you reply, or if you start a ticket and you're not the person that's supposed to start a ticket, that's on you. It's your job to know. But more importantly, the website is coming out very, very soon. We've worked very hard to get it done, to make it look as great as possible, because there is a lot of information there and there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done on the website as far as, tickets, everything. So it's going to be more organized than Discord by a long shot, but there's still going to be a lot on the website and you're going to need to familiarize yourself with it. That's going to be very important. We're not going to be able to explain it to each person how to do things. You just got to learn. You got to go on the website and figure it out. We'll do announcements when it actually launches and how to get into the website officially and to get your roles assigned to you. But really, I mean, everything else is going to be on you guys as players.
No, that's absolutely something I think that everyone should be absolutely okay with. I wouldn't imagine that nobody would be upset with, having to know how to do it themselves, because I don't think anyone wants to be handheld or babysat. I think that's, generally speaking, all that we need to say about the website at the moment. Obviously, there's
everything else is a surprise, to be quite honest.
Yeah, everything else is a surprise. So I guess we can go a little bit about the couple of questions that are being taught, that have been asked. We didn't have a whole lot this time around. I think next time we'll probably have a lot more. But Parker, I know you have a couple questions we put towards you. One question was talking about coaches and teams.
Yeah, so given the current system, and I've heard of a lot of a frequent last question as well, as far as tactical timeouts and how those are going to go, things along those lines, because those all tie into each other. Coaches being able to talk to their teams and timeouts, those all come into one. Mm-hmm. Given the current system that Rainbow has provided, there's no real way to do something as simple as like a tactical timeout effectively or efficiently, that is. But as far as coaches being able to sit inside of a game, as the admin staff has converted and talk to each other, we've determined that the answer is no. There's not going to be a way for them to do it. I'm going to touch base on a rule because I feel like that's important and it's relevant. Mm-hmm. When we review your MOS files, there's very specific things that you can have open while in the game. Communication programs are one of those things that you cannot have. TeamSpeak, Skype, anything that involves communication, with the exception of Discord. All of your players are to remain inside of your channel at all times. And they cannot go and leave the Discord. They cannot go and have TeamSpeak open because coaches are not able to contact their players during an actual game.
Hold on 1 second. Mayo in chat said that next season you can pause custom games. Huh. We'll have to look into that, and if that's the case, we'll take another look at that rule.
It used to be a thing back in the day.
It did,
but then they took it out.
They took it out because they put it to dedicated servers, and so I guess they stopped it from people being able to do it. They stopped it for people being able to just basically sit there on a dedicated server for hours at end. I'm assuming on accident. So if they're bringing it back.
If it's bringing it back, then absolutely that's something to talk about, because then we can involve tactical timeouts. That is something that can actually happen. But given the current system, and that's why I mentioned it in the current system, because I wasn't 100% sure if it's actually going to come out, because on the TTS and on everything else, it's not confirmed until it's inside of the main build. So, if the system allows us, we will consider it, absolutely, because I'm for it. Like I said, I think all of the admins here are for introducing a system like a tactical timeout or a timeout in general, and allowing coaches to interact with their players. I'm completely okay with that, but just given the current system, it's not easy to do.
Yeah. Teams that are safe from relegation, if you rank at the end of the season, if you rank 6 or higher in your division, you are safe from getting relegated down. And then if you just hit one, you hit 1 or 2 in your division, as long as you're not at the top of champion, you have the opportunity to move up. So 7 and 8 are the only ones that are at risk of being relegated. 8 automatically gets relegated down. Go all the way down to minor 1 and 2. Again, earlier, like I said, the bottom 6 of minor and all events you're going to be required to requal, as well as some other teams being brought in, so that we have a chance for fresh blood into the community. And I hope that answers your question. So another question that we got asked is when do Kali and Wamai become unlocked?
Currently they're in evaluation period, if I'm not mistaken. I do not believe that they're quarantined.
No, they're still in
you can clarify.
evaluation. Yeah, quarantine.
So
quarantine is like Lion.
If I'm not mistaken, it should be beginning of season 3, correct? As long as the new season launches before the start of season 3.
Yeah, as long as season 3 launches before. I mean, even if it doesn't, I think it's fine. That's kind of a conversation we've had a little bit here and there. Does it end on Saturday? Okay, good. Then yes, Kali and Wamai will be allowed, but that does not take place until after the finals on Monday. It'll take place with beginning of season 3.
Yeah, start of season 3 we'll make sure to announce any changes to operators, such as like Clash, if as a league we decide to take an operator out, or if they come out of evaluation, we'll put out an announcement in Discord or on the website, something along those lines, to make sure you know that they are allowed. But 100% before the start of season 3, Kali and Wamai are locked.
Yes.
The only time that they will unlock is when the first play day happens at the start of season 3, just so everyone's aware.
Mayo, just to answer your question, what we're saying is that until it makes its way officially into the game, we're not going to have that. Bordies, we did answer that question slightly earlier. If we can, right now the answer is no for coaches, because the game currently doesn't allow it for things like tactical timeouts. But we'll look again at that rule as long as pausing online custom games is allowable.
For a time that we determine as well. Like, if it only allows you to pause it for like 15 seconds, that's not going to be enough. If it allows you to pause up to a minute or 2 minutes or something along that, then absolutely, we'll definitely discuss it. But as of right now, and I can speak until we discuss it in the future, coaches are not allowed to be inside of channels. If the timeouts system is allowed, or it does come into the main game, then yeah, essentially it'll work. Like they'll be server muted, and then if they call a timeout, they'll be able to be unmuted, or they'll be moved into a separate channel. We haven't really decided that. That's not something that's currently on the back burner. That's not at the front lines of what we need to focus on right now. We have other core things that we're working on. So if the new system allows us to, then absolutely that'll be in the discussion topic at some point in season 3 if it comes to it.
Jordan, the map pool is going to reflect ESL map pool, so if there's a change to that, we will announce it and update it inside of the rules. Is something that's going to happen, just because it's about the balanced maps being played. And then unless we have one more thing we wanted to talk about, and I think that was put to Andrew, and it's talking about our staff yet again. Andrew, we're just talking to you all about all sorts of things with that, as later.
He needs you now.
Andrew, can you talk to them, and I will mute myself for the stream.
Yeah, so we do have quite a lot of staff positions available. I apologize if you heard me chuckle. You should be in this Discord call. But yeah, we have a few staff positions opening. Our esteemed host is gone and can no longer bring up our little chart that we had. But we are hiring, and we do have positions available. Obviously, currently the positions we're filling right now are non-players. So if you want to continue playing, you need not apply. Primarily on my end, I know we are looking for really to start our officiating team and our officiating division, to have a core team of experts on the rules that know them inside and out and enforce and react as they need, not just the 3 admins of us essentially doing it all. We're also looking for a lead social media mod to oversee our Twitter team, our YouTube team, and our Twitch team. A lead Discord mod to deal with all the community issues in Discord. Basically, just community chat rule enforcement. That really
Lead caster.
fun, exciting stuff. Parker, I'm looking at the flow chart, and you are to the right, and I'm working my way right. Okay.
How many times do I have to tell you during this panel not to at me? Okay. Lead casters are very important. Okay, actually, there's only one of them, so the lead
Either
caster is very important.
So that's the general gist is what I laid out is what we're currently looking for under the community side, which is our league relations side, as we're calling it. That will probably be expanded. There's going to be more positions that we need eventually, but we'll figure that out as we go. If you have any interest in any position, feel free to message me on that side. Now, on Parker's end, he is looking for a lead caster and a lead spectator right now. Parker, if you want to go into quickly just the roles and responsibilities of each of those positions.
Lead caster oversees the casters. Lead spectator oversees the spectators. It's pretty much as simple as that. That involves them organizing casters to be such as scheduling, just essentially is what a lead caster would do. And it gives them the ability to make slight changes to the caster roster, essentially. Not necessarily firing or anything along those lines, but just basically moving them up and down into different divisions as they see fit, and also bringing new casters and new talent as far as casters and spectators goes inside of RSL.
I'll put the no, I'm back. Apologize for that. I'll put the thing up for people to be able to see again, the org chart, so we can see kind of some of the emptiness. Not emptiness, but places we have to fill.
I would like to note that the Twitter mod position is not vacant, but we will be looking for more than just one.
We have 2 at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, we do have Twitter mods. I mean, we might not.
Held a message. Oh, I love it. Yes, allow. Oh man, chat. What are you guys on tonight? It's not even a match. It is. It's better than side fans, I guess, because those exist, and those guys are like, oh my god.
Let's get Zenith in here. YouTube. That's a very excellent question.
Yeah, I could go into YouTube. So we're gonna eventually want to get into create custom content and creating. I don't know. We're still developing it for like more like
sites and chat
on YouTube. Mods, if you can ban them. Actually, don't do that. But primarily, the main goal for YouTube, our immediate concern is to have all of our VODs available on there for all the games that are streamed. Because as you all know, Twitch does not let you store those permanently anymore. And that change was made a long time ago. But like, we want to have permanent record of every game that has been streamed or recorded, that we have available in one place, organized neatly for you to presume and watch and whatever you want to do with them. So that's our primary goal, and then beyond that with YouTube again, custom content. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be yet. That's a discussion we're having internally. So That's what I got on YouTube.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there anything else you want to mention about any of the other?
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah. That's also definitely the idea in the custom content lines is highlights, top plays, stuff like that. It's all something we want to do. And the YouTube manager position is vacant, and if you would like to build that team and run it as you see fit, you're more than welcome to apply. Anyone?
His fan base is passionate. No, toxic. That's the better word. I really hope just not wrapping it up, but essentially putting everything back into division. I think the ultimate goal in season 3 and just in general, I think this is everything. It's just to plan for the next season and to better it. With things like Operation Transparency, everything like that. We're just building a stepping stone into the next season. I know that myself and Andrew have already begin planning season 4 and some changes that are coming into season 4 and season 5. So obviously, we're not going to discuss those today, but we are already planning for little things here and there that are going to be changed. And as admins, we're always talking about what if something changes inside of R6 rather. So, things like timeouts and being able to pause, that's something that's always been on the discussion. We just have to wait and see. That's the biggest problem with Rainbow is you never really know what you're going to get. So, not to quote Forrest Gump, but you just never know. You really never know what you're going to get. So we're going to wait and see what all comes to the main build, and then we'll reconvene and talk more about changes that will affect things like timeouts. It's the best example I can get because I know that's the biggest one that everybody cares about right now.
No, that is something. Mkonian, I will answer. I think we answered the question a little bit earlier. At the moment, there's not currently matches in between the divisions, but that is something we could potentially look at in the future. Certainly with the not during the season, but maybe during the mid-season major, or during.
I know in the major, RSC is going to have it open to everybody. It'll be teams from RSL and teams competing in general, just kind of how the invitationals are, except we're going to allow teams that aren't in RSL to compete, just to see if there's a breakout team somewhere. So it won't have any real reflection, and it won't have any, I don't want to say consequence or what's the word I'm looking for? Advantage if you win it, except for just monetary gain.
Quickly, Mayo, the new rulebook is not available right now. It will be available for shortly before the new season. We're just finishing touching it, if you will, right now. So we'll have that link available as soon as it is.
Yeah,
it's going. I can say that for the major that I have to discuss with the RSC staff. But I can say with confidence, just because I own RSC, that the prize pool is going to be pretty sizable.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want to say for sure, but Andrew, stop me if you don't want me to say it. But I can probably say. Okay, Heimdall. I hate to do this to the league, but I can say that it'll probably be bigger than the actual league final, or not the league final, but the buy-in for the league.
But the key point is.
I mean, to be fair,
carry on.
To be fair, you're not paying staff out of it, not out of the prize pool, but out of the whole thing.
Yeah, no, the tournament idea we have, no one's gonna like, but it'll be entertaining.
Oh, absolutely! It's gonna be a Creator Cup type thing. It's gonna have
it's an all-in-one, baby. You're going all the way and taking it all home, or you're just left for, I guess,
single elimination, $400 prize pool. Things like that.
You're gonna have a fun time. You're not gonna like the map pool. You're definitely not gonna like the format.
You're gonna love all of it.
I mean, it's gonna be fantastic. It's really great. Because I want something entertaining to watch.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Andrew's just kind of like the guy. Ooh, let's see it burn a little bit. Mkonian, we could maybe have that easy. I'm not sure. Mkonian, the winnings are the same. Yes, it is $800. So the prize pools in general: $800 for champion, $400 for major, and $200 for minor. $600 for first place champion, $200 for second place champion, $300 for first place major, $100 for first place minor, and then $150 for first place. Sorry. Major was the second one, and then minor is $150 first place. Second place is $50.
As far as rules go, keep this in mind though. If a team that is in first place and they win and they've had penalty points assessed to them, that prize pool will not still be the same. It'll be divvied up between the team below them. Yeah. So if it's a $600 prize pool and they have a 10% major penalty point issued to them, they're not getting $600 of it. It's going to be divvied down to the team below them.
Yes, we will absolutely have that info posted to where people can see it.
Jimmy, and just to clarify this, I'm not a silver. Thank you very much. I'm a bronze.
Yeah, he's a bronze. I was going to say.
Yeah. And Heimdall's dirt 4.
Yep, pretty much.
And Andrew's actually wood, so that's pretty interesting.
I'm balsa wood. I'm not even like something nice like oak.
God, how dare you assume my rank like that? Get out of here. This is 2016. You have to at least Yeah,
This is
just tell me.
2016, Parker.
Well, actually, King Hinzo, I'm actually Dirt 6. Thank you very much.
Dirt 6. It goes that low now. Wow.
Yeah, they had to create one.
They
They had to create just for
skipped Dirt
me.
5 and they created Dirt 6 just for you.
You're a
Yeah, just for me.
Minecraft dirt block.
I wish I
No,
was
no,
that
no.
good.
He's like another brick.
Yeah, dirt blocks are more useful.
Dirt blocks get me out of ravines.
Yeah.
And Parker's carried, by the way. Of course, Cold's still here. Why wouldn't he be? I think just
Twice
I
a
think
week,
for
that
everybody here. I think for everybody here, just so you know, questions are always able to be answered, even through just community chat or to a
Me?
DM to Andrew. Yeah. Like questions involving like the community and some changes and whatnot necessarily don't have to go through tickets. It's not necessarily an official capacity. But up until just ask your questions. If there's something that you need to know or you want to know, just ask it. We'll answer it as fast as possible. I know that I think our typical response time for ModMill is less than like 3 seconds, I swear to God. But like less than an hour. So we tend to get to people very, very quickly.
Yes. Also, I do want to make a point. If you guys hear anything, I'm not sure if you guys will. There was an issue temporarily. There's an issue currently with the Moss website. It has been partially resolved. There is a workaround. So don't worry too much about that. We will try and make sure you guys have access to what the workaround is, so that way anyone who's having any issues with Moss can get it fixed. I know that we had a couple teams recently that have been having issues with Moss, but Moss is still currently working. I will say that we are also potentially looking at, because of the format changes, we are potentially looking at using ESO Wire, but that is a conversation still ongoing, whether we want to use it or not. I know I probably should have said that earlier, but oh hell, still in mind. So with that being said, I'm just trying to think if is there anything else that we missed, or if anybody else has any questions in chat. Parker, Andrew, anything you guys think that we missed that we don't want to leave for a surprise?
This isn't anything we missed. I've mentioned it many times, but I just want to reiterate. Do feel free to message me your stuff, your things, your issues, whatever. I'll try to answer. I mean, I have my phone on 24/7 and it wakes me up in the middle of the night. I don't really care. Shoot me your DMs. No nudes.
As he said earlier, I have business hours.
I have business hours. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna,
March 30th. March 30th is when the season officially starts. We just might try to...
I'm just concocting the best Twitch message ever. There we go.
Oh no!
No,
not even
it
yours,
is not.
Parker. Easy R6. And no, it's not.
No, that is not the case, everybody. March 30th.
Honestly though, it is. Honestly. Hashtag ban Heimdall143 in the chat, please.
No, we are not banning Heimdall143.
You guys would.
I love it.
Hey, Asian, how's it going? Yeah, you use a little stacked, kind of, maybe. No, we're not banning Heim.
Coming. It's coming.
No, it's not. Cold.
Cold. I went on a limb here and gave you a job. Please.
Yeah, I have power
Please.
over him.
Well, at this point, since this is where chat's going, unless Parker, Heimdall, if you guys have anything else to add, we can, I think, wrap it up for the evening.
Yeah,
and
I think we can do that.
Good.
So, this was the League 3 panel. We will have the VOD posted.
Season 3, not League 3.
Sorry. Yes,
By
sorry.
the way. Our league is called RSL, for those who don't know.
Yep, this is RSL, Rainbow Six League. This is the panel for Season 3, going over a bunch of the changes that we have made coming up that we haven't left as a surprise. Introducing things like the website, our new rule book, the format change for the season. Talking a little bit about not only the creation of 2 new divisions, calling them divisions, as well as relegations and prize pools. And just some other general community questions that we have, as I just keep seeing Free the Coaches and Ben Heimdall going in chat. This is great. I've been Heimdall. Heimdall143 is my Discord. I'm the league director. I've been joined by Parker, who is the community director, the production director for RSO, and then Andrew, who is the community director as well. With that being said, thank you everyone for joining in for the stream, and have a wonderful evening.
Good night.